My name is John Schriefer. I started here in 1986 as an assistant professor of pharmacology, and over the years worked my way up to full professor. And then there was a change in administration, and they needed me to be an administrator. So I kept my teaching duties, but added the Associate Dean for Preclinical Education position to my role. I guess is responsible for the first 2 years of our curriculum on campus here. So I did that and enjoyed that work, helping the students navigate, which is really a very arduous task, getting through medical school. Life happens to students during medical school just like they would happen any other place, and I was pleased to be able to help them negotiate whatever their issues were. So that was the end of my career here. I retired in 2016 and have been back occasionally. I come back once a year, or twice a year actually, to help Dr. Deb Schmidt with a unit that she does on movement disorders. So I keep my hand in. I really enjoyed teaching and missed it, and so this is a good way to at least have some contact with students. You know, working with young people keeps you young, and that appealed to me. I have never really counted, but I'm sure that I've taught over several thousand young people to be a physician. That's having that much effect on a person's life, and the things that they do to affect other people's life makes me feel like it was a great career. I would like to mention that I have Parkinson's disease, and there's something about Parkinson's disease that influences your emotions, and so I can get emotional at times, which is a little bit embarrassing, but it is what it is. But the relationships that I had with students, staff, and the other faculty were great. Some of the students that I taught and got to know, I still have contact with. In fact, about a month ago, I got a telephone call from a student that was in the first class that I taught here, and he was retiring. And he wanted to thank me for helping him get through medical school. He had some problems, personal problems at the time, and I guess I had a good effect on him getting through that time. In most medical schools, professors in the class for maybe four or five lectures throughout the entire year, and that's it. So it's kind of hard to develop much of a relationship with a professor when you only see them occasionally. And you get good at it, and you know the students, and you know what they're going through. When I first got here, I gave the first test. It was harder than they were expecting. And I got a nickname of Schriefer the Grim Reaper. This was back in the days when almost everybody had a nickname, but I was the Grim Reaper. But when I retired 30 years later, I was known as Papa Schriefer. Our students do well in practice. They do well in their clinical training. Our emphasis on teaching and on service for the students is something that is different than most medical schools, and we appeal to a kind of student who is interested in not just being a doctor and making money. We appeal to people who want to serve. You know, faculty serve on a variety of committees during their time here. And I served on the admissions committee for probably 10 years. My work on that committee was to make sure that we didn't take people who were jerks. There are plenty of jerks in any field, and medicine has their share. But I didn't want to encourage that kind of behavior. I didn't want jerks in our school. Jerks need not apply. Home. Feels like a home. WVSOM is a special place. I'm glad I found it. My hope is that I know that things will need to change as the world changes around WVSOM, but I hope that the emphasis on teaching stays the same, that the emphasis on family stays the same. I would hate it to turn into just a regular medical school. There's plenty of those. But what we have had here, I'd say, is unique.